it's Friday. We made it. How's your week been? I know for us, the Stevens house, it's always chaotic, no matter what, coronavirus or not. And so today we're going to shift gears a little bit, and I'm going to take on a question that came out of our study that some folks were wondering about, and maybe you were wondering about this as well. And in James chapter 4, in verse 4, where it says, do you not know that friendship with the world is hostility towards God? Therefore, whoever wishes to be a friend of the world makes himself an enemy of God. And I don't think any of us want to be enemies of God. Actually, we love God and we want to know God and to get closer to the Lord. John actually mentions the same thing, and we kind of talked about this. It said, do not love the world, nor the things in the world. If anyone loves the world, the love of the Father is not in him. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the boastful pride of life, is not from the Father, but is from the world. And then John says this, he says, the world is passing away, and also its lust, but the one who does the will of God lives forever. And so the question that has come up was, what does it mean to be a part of the world? What does it mean to love the world? So the question is having nice things, does that mean that I love the world? Is it okay to have nice things? Even Jesus recognized that Solomon had a lot of wealth. We know that about King Solomon. King David, his father, the same way, he had a lot of wealth. As a matter of fact, Jesus at one point said to some folks, he said, you see, the lilies in the field, and they don't spin and they don't work, and yet even Solomon, he says, in all of his glory, all of his splendor, was not clothed like one of these. And so, what Jesus was saying was, he said, listen, Solomon had a lot of awesome stuff. The temple itself is a gorgeous, gorgeous place, Solomon's temple. It was well known around the world. So does having stuff equal, being an enemy of God? And so I want to kind of talk about what that means today. And I'm going to do it through the words of Jesus, because I think it's important to know. We live in a day and a culture in which, people are not satisfied ever. Paul, for instance, said, one thing I've learned to be content with whatever I have. Today we have a bunch of people who are never content, never happy, no matter what they have. Their house isn't nice enough. Their furniture isn't nice enough. Their car isn't nice enough. And so we're always looking to upgrade. We're always looking to do things that would cause us to, want the latest, greatest, newest thing. If you have an iPhone 6, you need an iPhone 7. When the 7s came out and the 8s came out, you needed an 8 because the 7 no longer was good enough. And on and on and on. And, now we need an iPhone 11. And if you're not an Apple person, you need this Android 11 or whatever the case may be. We're always looking for the latest, greatest, best thing. And the question is that the way we should use our resources? Jesus answers that question. And in Matthew chapter 25, he is talking about when he comes back, he says, and when the Son of Man comes in his glory, and all his angels with him, then he will sit on his glorious throne, and all the nations will be gathered before him. And he will separate them one from another, as a shepherd separates the sheep from the goats. And he will put the sheep on his right hand and the goats on his left. Then the king will say to those on his right, come, you who are blessed by my Father. He said, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundations of the world. He said, for I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you invited me in. I was naked, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you visited me. I was in prison, and you came to me. Then the righteous will answer to him, saying, Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, and thirsty and give you something to drink? And when did we see you, a stranger and invite you in, or naked and clothe you? When did we see you sick or in prison and come to you? And the king will answer and say to them, truly I say to you, as to the extent that you did it to the least of these, my brethren, you have done it unto me. And so here's the thing I want to leave us with. and answering the question, what does it mean to be a part of the world and in love with the world? All of us have resources. And how we use those resources matter to God. You see, to be in love with the world is to collect stuff for ourselves. To be in love with Jesus means that we take our resources and we help others. Whether it's food or clothing or shelter or just an encouraging word. What we have at our disposal, we are given in order to help others. And that's what it means to love the world or simply use the things the world has to honor God and to help others. God bless. Have a great Friday.